3,
4.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us today. Wine has a way of bringing together cultures and people. By entertaining, enticing with flavor, taste, and more importantly, the experience of the wine itself. Many connoisseurs delve in their passion for wine by visiting the vineyards that create their favorite wines. Today, Meredith, Kim, and I are here to tell you about one of our favorite Italian vineyards, Villa Vignamaggio. Villa Vignamaggio fulfills and exceeds expectations on a traditional Italian vineyard. Nestled in the heart of Tuscany, Villa Vignamaggio offers and accommodations that are true to the history and customs of a traditional Italian vineyard. Deciding on Villa Vignamaggio as your destination is an experience for the senses. While with the breathtaking environment and the beauty you can absorb with traditions and cultures of the Italians. One of the first resources for many travelers is TripAdvisor.com. It is easy to access either online or through your phone on an app. You can see beautiful pictures and read reviews while visiting TripAdvisor. You will also see that there is plenty of wonderful reviews. Villa Vignamaggio received reviews that included marvelous, straight out of the movies, brilliant, and overall, they received a 4.5-star review. The villa is a part of the agro-tourism of Tuscany and Italy. It also allows patrons to visit the vineyard and enjoy the countryside life as a working vineyard while basking in the luxury of a historical vineyard. Each room is unique and offers abundant hospitality while keeping true to its Italian country charm. Lodging is available at the villa itself in the form of suites and double bedrooms. There is additional lodging available outside the villa in the form of furnished apartments, bed and breakfast, and there are also some privately owned country homes that were old farmhouses that have been converted. And most accommodations are very close to Villa Vignamaggio, usually within 300 meters or so. For the best experience, partaking in Villa Vignamaggio's beautifully decorated rooms and enriched environment is ideal. Some of the accommodations that Villa Vignamaggio includes are 2 swimming pools, tennis courts, and equipment and free parking. And most importantly, a wine bar and delectable restaurant on premise for you to enjoy. Villa Vignamaggio's history dates back to the 14th century, though it began to thrive in the 17th. Owned by the Giardini family until the late 1880s, it was bought by the Countess Elena San Minitel, and it continues to stay true to its history. As of 1998, it has been improving its quality and aesthetic by restoring, building, and reviving the grounds and updating the vineyards and cellars. Villa Vignamaggio is located in Chianti, near the village of Greve. This is the birthplace of the Mona Lisa by painter Leonardo da Vinci, home to beautiful Renaissance architecture and vineyards and olive groves. The history and architecture of the Chianti area goes deeper than that, and Meredith is here to share that with you.
Thanks, Shannon. Now, if not for the fine dining, the glorious vineyards, and the elegant hotels that Shannon mentioned, the museums, churches, and historical landmarks should be the next big thing to experience on your list. Of all the things you should do on your trip to Tuscany, sightseeing should definitely be one of them. Greve, which got its name from sitting on the Val di Greve River, was coined the gateway to Chianti because it's the first major town heading into the Chianti region. It's a small town not lying at the top of a hill, but its interestingly shaped main square is a perfect location from which to wander around, enjoy an espresso, a gelato, or a glass of wine. Until recently, it's been a quiet, slightly isolated town because it was and still is well off the main roads. However, today modern transportation has connected it to the world at large, enabling it to export abundant quantities of wine and attract many tourists. All this information can be found at wikipedia.com/Greve in Chianti. Piazza Matteotti is the main piazza in Greve. Although it isn't necessarily shaped like a square, it's still considered the square because it's the main focal point of the town. Greve offers a chance to enjoy a relaxing stroll in the main square without it being overwhelming. It has some regular lively events that take place, including food and wine festivals. Music and markets intermingle year-round, but take place mainly in the summer and in the fall. Some famous shops are located on the main square. A few are the Antica Macelleria Forlorni, a Tuscan butcher shop that's been in the same spot since 1729, and the large statue near City Hall of Giovanni da Verrazzano, the famous explorer that discovered the Hudson Bay in New York. With the elegance of a small town, Greve has a few museums and monuments to visit. Located adjacent to the square is the Santa Croce Church. Built on the site of the medieval church, it still displays several masterpieces from churches in the local surroundings. One of the most well-known of these works is the 14th century fresco depicting the Virgin Mary with child. A few steps from the piazza is the Museum of Sacred Art. In this former hospital of St. Francis, visitors can admire the original platform of the annexed oratory, which is where saints and evangelists spoke to the crowds. It's branded with a marvelous group of sculptures in colored terracotta, which is a color palette containing browns, golds, and mahoganies. Within it holds 14th century works such as Annunciation from Santa Croce Church and a Virgin Mary with Child between St. Bartholomew and St. Francis from the Church of Santa Maria Assuntoia. One last museum that is worth the stop is the Wine Museum that offers wine tastings of over 200 different labels, and in the museum there are also many old farm machines on display, as well as 180 different corkscrews. And I was able to locate all this information at Chianti's homepage website at chianti.com/Greve. Last, but definitely not least, make sure to visit the beautiful Monte Fiorale. The small consolidated village is located on a hill above Greve, less than a mile away from the main square. Here, the famous explorer Amerigo Vespucci was born. The ancestral home is located along the main street, and its only distinguishing mark is the family's coat of arms with a wasp above the doorway. So while you're in Tuscany, don't forget to get a good stroll through the main square, visit the churches and museums, and simply enjoy the timelessness that is Italy. And next that we'll be speaking is Kim.
Thank you, Meredith. Chianti wines date back to 1404 in Tuscany. Villa Vignamaggio is no exception. Lisa Gherardini, the famous Mona Lisa, took her first steps in this vineyard, as her parents were the first original owners. Chianti originated in the Tuscan Valley, with vineyards full of Sangiovese grapes. Sangiovese means the blood of Jove. Jove was the supreme god in Roman mythology. The grapes are considered the dominating grapes in Italy. Chianti wines must contain at least 80% of these grapes in order to be marketed and sold as Chianti. And what makes a Sangiovese grape so special is the fact that they are high in tannin and the skins are very thin, which allows them to hang on to the grape longer and thus has a higher quality level of grape. The Chianti flavor profile can range from light-bodied to full-bodied. Full-bodied wines contain the highest levels of tannins and usually are rich in black cherry and earthy flavors. Chianti is one of the favorite wines to pair with a meal. They pair very well with red meat, fish, lamb, stews, and especially the aged cheeses that Italy has to offer. A local establishment, Gallo Nero Restaurant, is rated #1 in the Chianti area. One of the local favorite items on the menu is the steak Florentine, which is actually a T-bone steak served very, very rare. Local olive oils are also featured as they grow alongside the grapes in the local vineyards. You can find out more about this restaurant at www.inestorantegallinero.it. The food eaten in the Tuscan Valley is bold in flavors, which is enhanced with the different varieties of wines. This gallery for this particular restaurant has beautiful pictures of some of their main dishes that they serve. Meredith and Shannon have shared the wonderful sights in this villa, as well as the accommodations. The scenery is beautiful and breathtaking no matter where you are. The accommodations make you feel as if you have just stepped back in time. Each vineyard has something unique to offer and is rich and full in history. While planning your next vacation, take a trip to Tuscan, Chianti, Italy. It will be the most relaxing and memorable trip you take. See the sights, drink the wines, and step back in time to a more peaceful place in time. It will be the vacation of a lifetime. Salute.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have one. What is gelata? I heard you mention that word, gelata.
Gelato is an Italian ice cream. It's really just a fancier, more rich version of what I guess American ice cream would be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any more questions?
I've got a question. Where is the closest airport?
There's two different airports that you can take. You can take airport in Pisa, which is closer, but it's not an international airport. But it's better to take there's one that's in Florence, it's actually the international airport, and both offer shuttles that come from the airport to the Villa Vignamaggio. And like I mentioned earlier, TripAdvisor.com, there's different areas on there that you can put your itinerary, and so it's easier for you to keep track of your trip.